Today is um, Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. It's 9:05 a.m. and that man was banging. He startled me and woke me up by banging on the banging with the hammer. I hate when they act like they want to decide when I should be forced to wake up or when I should be allowed to sleep. So I didn't get to fall asleep until, what time was it? Almost 1 o'clock this morning. And good thing I slept very good last night, despite, going to bed hungry with nothing to eat. And I had nothing to eat. And then so yeah, he started banging, and then the instant I put him on film, he stopped. He hurried up and stopped as soon as I quickly grabbed my phone and out of my sleep. So so yeah, I say, people want to, like, I was a little kid in foster care, and the foster mom herself was abusive, cruel, and wicked. She argued with her husband, the foster dad, Al, from, you know, went early in the morning before work, and then after work in the evening, we had to hear them arguing too. So, um, now me and my twins was to argue, fuss, whatever, and but it's a different story. Now I've been seeing people online being more vocal about, sibling abuse. There's a such thing as sibling rivalry too. Sibling rivalry also. But sibling abuse, people are starting to be more outspoken about, sibling bullying and sibling abuse and stuff. And when I was abused by the biological brother Pete about 6 years ago, the first time I ever in my life lived with Pete, and first and last. And well, I ain't staying by no other family member no more. So Pete would you know, when I try to call the domestic violence hotline or try to call up some shelter or whatever, and there was really no homeless shelter, in the domestic violence hotline, the lady laughed in my face, and she said that it was more like, she laughed in my face, and I'm a ghetto perp, and was rude to me, and said that I couldn't get help because that's my brother and not my boyfriend or husband or whatever. But she didn't even act polite or direct me to some resources where I could have gotten out of the situation. And then I had no money because Pete took it all. He scammed me out of $80. So bullied and scammed me out of $80, and then make false promises to pay me back, and I never never saw that $80, and now all of a sudden you freaking mad at me now. So but anyway, but the foster mom was abusive, cruel, and hateful, and she herself always would, bully, harass, and lecture me about being so mean and hateful. Well, if any hateful that you want to say I am, you try to force and mold us to be like you and force us to like the things that you like and stuff. So any hateful I have in me, I picked it up from you. I learned it from you. But you don't see yourself as hateful and cruel. I mean, you think it's love to force a 3-year-old toddler to sleep outside? You think it's love to force me to eat out of garbage cans at 3 years old? You think it's love to, tell me I'm schizophrenic and crazy and going to grow up to be a prostitute, a drug addicted prostitute? Or do you think it's, now he's trying to disrupt my doggone video. Or do you think it's love for me to, for you to talk about having the psychiatrist to put me on a psychiatric medication that will have them destroy my liver and kill me? You think all that is love? So anyway, what I was trying to get at is it's a cruel, cold world out here, and narcissistic abusers, when they bully and pick on you, they don't think that what they're doing is hateful or abusive. But when you strike back and stand up to them, all of a sudden you're the one who's hateful and full of abuse. Or the one with foul behavior, with unruly behavior. But they don't see any wrong in what they do, but you got to take accountability, for lashing out after you've had enough. And I hate how, people have their minds made up to hate you. This is a very cruel, cold world out here. That it's like people act extra, they want to say that it's like they act extra cruel and abusive to somebody labeled a mental patient. While somebody, a thug who murdered somebody and spent maybe 20 years in prison and then gets out, they can be welcomed back in society. But somebody some people who haven't even harmed a fly and then labeled a mental patient, they want to say that this person is crazy and needs help. But all the so-called help is nothing but abuse. Severe abuse and punishment and torture and torment that y'all want to say the help is needed. And you don't solve the problem by being vicious and cruel and brutal. And, take every right of a so-called mental patient away. Even when you're locked up in a mental institution, you have no rights at all. And you don't have, you're treated like you're in prison, But sometimes in the emergency room for a physical problem, they don't let you eat or whatever, and then they do medical procedures. And then if you have regular hospital stay, then I guess if you have a family member that loves you, they can bring you extra food and stuff. And hospital food is nasty. Hospital food is nasty. Well, in the mental hospital, sometimes the food will be good. But in the excuse me. But yeah, like the mental hospital is like a temporary prison. And you don't get to see outside for 18 days. You don't get to see outside for 18 days in the mental hospital. So I guess I'm doggone used to living like a doggone hermit, you know, or like a recluse or something, and just stay inside. And people always say I'm aggravating and annoying and bother people. So I just try to stay to myself. And then when I stay to myself, oh, why you so antisocial? You're low class, ignorant, and ghetto, and need to freaking you know, I'm not. You're using the words in the wrong. You're using the wrong word here. You know, if somebody's a loner, that does not mean antisocial. Like sometimes people use the words antisocial and codependent in the wrong context or whatever, you know. But anyway, I was forced to be a loner growing up because if everybody say I'm aggravating and annoying and nobody wanted to be bothered with me, so I stay in my room all day, my bedroom, you know, in foster care. I would stay in my room all day by myself because if nobody wanted to be bothered with me and I wasn't allowed to watch my favorite TV shows or movies or music videos or none of that like I wanted to, so I just stayed locked in a room. And it seemed like the foster family members would come and visit and then bring me downstairs just so they can make a clown show out of me and humiliate me, humiliate my looks and stuff. I'm like, well, I didn't go anywhere, so why do you care about, I mean, or they bully, harass, and make fun of me if I try to experiment on trying to be creative with trying to style my hair or something. And as I said, you know, I mean, the foster mom and the foster family still try to control and abuse us after we turn 18. And the physical abuse and beatings got worse after I turned 18. And the foster sister Joni was 19 years old being whipped with a belt and had whelps, bloody whelps on her still. You hear him? But that man, he banged hard on purpose to wake me up, to force me to wake up. But my thing I was trying to get at, you know, is people, how the hell you call me hateful, but you sitting there spreading the word like wildfire and making it go viral to, you know, brainwash everybody to hate me based on lies, false rumors, twisted up stories, and smear campaigns. You know, to make the world hate me and make everybody hate me and make it like as if I'm the worst person in the world. And, you know, spread the message to tell everybody don't donate to her and don't help her and make her starve, make her stay out there in lightning. And then if I get struck by lightning, then they'll say, well, it was your fault. You stupid. You chose to be out there. No, I didn't. You saw me trying to get help, crying out for help and screaming out for help to get out of the bad weather with lightning and thunder and everything like that, you know. So, I mean, I cannot believe that I was forced to go to bed hungry last night. I was forced against my will to go to bed hungry last night with no food. You know, as I said, if money is tight on your end and you wish you could have done it but can't do it, then that's understandable. And it's like, I mean, May 2020, you wouldn't have caught me begging or asking for money. You know, things were better before the you know what started. And ever since May 2020, I started to try to work on writings and stuff, and the perps kept on sabotaging it. And then it took me that gang stalked and targeted by the Psych World small little ebook that I wrote. book that was the first book that I published on Amazon. Believe it or not, I mean, I tried to put it on freeebooks.net, and guess what? They rejected it. So I put it on Amazon.com. It took me, believe it or not, it took me only like 2 days to get that book out. And, some of the TIs were happy for me, and a few of them supported and bought my ebook. And, I was trying to give it for free, and if people wanted to donate, then, you could donate. But, Amazon wouldn't let me, I was trying to price it to where it could be free, but they wanted me to charge anywhere between $2.99 and $4.99, so I charged the lowest price, $2.99. And so, the online perps, they were infuriated and wanted me dead when when I got that ebook out about, gang stalked and targeted by the Psych World ebook. And it's on my blog for free. I put it on my blog for free later on. All my ebooks. But, so, I mean, the perps want it to be a waste of time for me to write anything. And they tell everybody to not pay attention to me, while they're the only ones want the fake gift of stalking everything I do. And if you just, I mean, that's what narcissistic perping, I guess that's what they do, is follow my every move for 3 years and then just do nothing but put me down and insult me and talking like they hate me and can't stand me and sick and tired of me and stuff. But, you got the option to back off and leave me alone and get out of that satanic contract. And repent and turn to Jesus. And once you do turn to Jesus and have a change of heart, you won't be, come on now. See, the moment I mention about Jesus, you see what he's doing? So, it's like, if you do turn to Jesus, then you ain't gonna have the feelings of hating my guts and being sick and tired of me no more. But y'all feel like y'all in it for life. Excuse me. And I know I've been like spiritually and mentally and emotionally at my lowest and the weakest. Off and on all year so far. Half of the year, the first half of the year is almost over. And as I said, after what I've been through, I mean, it took me almost 6 months to get another job. And then they bullied me off that job and the other job. So, as I said, I'm going to try to just write more. Write even more. And on my blog, I get on average probably 10 to 15 sometimes less than 10 views on a blog post, and sometimes I have to, well, all the time I have to post it twice in order to get like 20 something views on whatever particular blog post. And so, I've even tried to show certain targeted individuals, a TI related fictional short story that I wrote, and all they do is ignore me, or they yell at me about how they don't like being tagged, or they straight up block me or whatever. So, I mean, I don't tag anybody, and it's like I'm being largely ignored, and it's like the only people paying attention are the doggone perps. And then my blog is definitely shadow banned, because when I Google search gang stalked Creole author, only a couple of the blog post links show up. and then the rest is omitted search results, like as if they're omitted because they're quote unquote no good or something. So you have to click on the omitted search results, and then the rest of the blog post will come, like as if like they really been censoring me since the first since my blog started it, and since my blog started, and since before I even announced, hey y'all, here's my blog or whatever, And they even heavily censor my Ko-fi as well. Anything that's to help me make a living and make money, they want to heavily censor it and keep up the false narrative that she's always whining and begging or complaining and begging. Well, I wouldn't have to beg if, if more people were supportive, of my writings and stuff. But people are turned away because of the slander campaigns. And they make it like as if I'm supposed to look like a fool, and their plans should be bigger and more successful than God's plans. So when you Google search my name, a lot of the posts of Google or YouTube, the posts about the slander campaign posts about what the perps say about me, the lies and false rumors and twisted up stories and mocking and making fun of me and stuff, those are showing up before my own stuff. So I'm saying, like, I'm by myself at this very moment today. It's been almost just about a month now that I have no targeted individual. That happened for a short season. I'm like, well, wow, I have like 5 or 6 targeted individuals I can talk to when I had basically nobody at one point. And they're all, when it happened, when that stuff happened with fake ass Trisha, then all of a sudden, now I'm back to square one with having 0 targeted individuals to talk to on the phone. And then if I were to talk to somebody, I got to hear about how I got to shut up and ignore. So, shut up and ignore. So, if I could ignore what happened, if I could ignore the perps, then I could be making money off my ebooks or short stories. And more people would be supportive. Y'all don't ignore the perp slander campaigns about me. Y'all join in or make threats to join in. You either join in or make threats to join in. And then you create your own lies about me. So, as I said, that website that talks about exposing gang stalking, I'm thankful and glad that I stumbled upon that website, because that website said that basically you're a targeted individual because they're trying to groom you to become a perp. Or if they can't get you to become a perp, then they'll try to act like they want to try to push you to commit suicide. That's the gang stalking goals, is to try to push a target to suicide. And in some cases they do. If that doesn't work, then they do, and you outspoken and speak the truth, if they can't get you jail institutionalized or to get you to commit suicide, they straight up murder you. And then sometimes you end up being disappearing. So the so-called TI community, I've been talking for almost 2.5 years about how the so-called community is just corrupt and sold out, and if they have like the TI day or TI rallies, or it's all the popular fakes who high five and glorify and worship each other like one big cult. And the true TIs who are suffering, it's like that people want to beat them beat them into silence and try to force us to shut up about our targeting, and we're not allowed to talk about our electronic weapons. And then they want to, I think this perp named Hal 9000, who wants to falsely say that, you know, he wants to falsely say that, you know, oh, it's just artificial intelligence, and you're being mind controlled. And then he's playing both sides by saying TIs are mentally ill and stuff. But you know, no, it's not AI. It's people's evil choices that make them turn perps. So it's heartbreaking when, you know, some people say sometimes, you know, I've heard people say, well, that the perps would use directed energy weapons to mind control another targeted individual to unknowingly act like a perp towards another TI, and then they end up arguing and fussing and not getting along, and then the perps have a field day with seeing two TIs argue. And, you know, if I'm doing a video right now, you know, I'm in the natural lighting of the room, you know, but see the stuff that I'm talking about, my experiences, and a fake TI perp will sometimes use projection and pretend to fake freak out and falsely, and somebody who you never seen before, they try to say, well, Candy's always perping me in her videos. And I'm like, I don't even know you. I never seen you before. I don't know you, and this is my first time seeing of your existence. The fact that you falsely accuse me of always perping you in my videos and stuff. I'm just talking about my own experiences. And then sometimes they're fake TI perps pretending to be targeted, and they be lying their asses off. And then they turn around and start perping you. And it's just like such strong confusion in the so-called TI community. And so I just got to be forced to deal with my targeting in silence and by myself, and not allowed to have anybody who I can talk to. And then it seems like each and every targeted individual who I have talked on the phone with have backstabbed and betrayed me and turned against me and started to act narcissistic or start to act perp-like. And then I'm forbidden to speak about my experiences, about what they did, and then they think that they can punish me and treat me like how the perps do. You know, and right now they had this supposed targeted individual from my hometown, New Orleans, you know, and she's supposedly going through a whole lot, but it seems like, you know, when I DM'd her and told her about my twin sister and the cult followers trying to have adult protective services to come and get me, all she did was say, stay away from him and let me know you got in the hotel safe, when she, you know, donated me, I think, $100 for a hotel room when it was bad rain a couple of weeks ago, before I started the job. And ever since then, she don't even, you know, she seemed like as if she kind of keep a distance from me. But I'm afraid she might block me or get mad at me if I ask, well, you know, I know you're going through a lot and stuff, but I was hoping I didn't offend or upset you, or you know, you know, I didn't want to say, well, it seemed like as if, you know, you quit talking to me or you've been ignoring my DMs and stuff, but talking to everybody else. So ignoring but you know, got time to talk to everybody else on Twitter, and I'm being singled out and ignored now. But you know, she used to have like a rare random moment where she would donate me $50 or $100, you know, just and telling me, hometown sister and stuff like that. And so I never really asked people directly online for any money or whatever. In person I do go up to the person and ask them for help, but online people will get hateful and block you if you go directly from person to person. And I hate, it seems like to be looked at as a beggar. They wanted to be more shameful, to be looked at as a beggar or somebody who's always begging. you know they wanted to be more shameful than, you know somebody who has a reputation for being like a pedophile or something, or to be homeless. They hate it more than a pedophile, more than the rich Hollywood pedophile executives. And a homeless poor person who wouldn't hurt a fly would has more disrespect and hate than in society than the Hollywood pedophile executives. This world is twisted up just because they're more well dressed. And what's funny is people talk about some of the celebrities that, if you got all this riches and fame and money and fortune and all that, but I've heard certain stories about celebrities who have stinky genitals, or smelly breath and stuff, or they walk around with foul odor. And this is in the doggone black celebrity community. If people say that the R&B singer Babyface smelled bad, I mean, as cute as he was, people try to say that he smelled bad and needed to take a bath. They say that The Weeknd smells bad. They say that whore Beyonce's breath stinks. That Missy Elliott and the singer Brandy, that their what smells bad down there, or stuff like that. Or if this celebrity or that celebrity might have chronic stinky smelly feet or something like that. Who knows? If people even said that Obama stinks, Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro, they say that he stinks and smells bad. So I mean, with all that riches and fame and money, why are y'all smelling bad? If whore Beyonce can't correct her halitosis with all the riches, fame, and money, I mean, you would expect a poor homeless person like me to be stinky and dirty, But every day, and I'm on the streets, and every day, people don't tell me on a daily basis, oh, you stink, you smell bad. But that one time last May in 2021, that narcissistic lady at that downtown restaurant at the Doghouse Deli, that Belinda lady, she was narcissistic enough to try to tell me, oh, you stink or whatever. But a narcissistic abuser, I can live with the biological gay brother Mark and take 2 showers a day, and then he wouldn't even take 2 showers a day, but he would just, for no reason, just to put me down and be abusive and falsely accuse me of stinking and smelling bad. Or the foster mom, I mean, it's like whether you take 3 baths a day, oh, if I take 3 baths a day, then, you got OCD and something's really wrong with that, or something's wrong with you being too meticulous. But then, me having OCD and being too meticulous or this or that, whatever, because the fake foster mom Ann used to punish and torture and abuse us for this and that, not being clean enough when we were little. And she had us frightened and terrified of whatever punishments because this and that is not clean enough. And then now you label me with a OCD, you label me with OCD. And then you want us to find something weird with me, because if I was to be too clean, and then for me to be too clean, the foster mom would still say, "You look home." I was a teenager in her care, under her control, not care, under her control and abuse. She would just tell me abusive things and put me down, and tell me that, despite me being trying to be overly clean, and she would still tell me, "You look homeless," and that nobody will want to hire you for work and stuff. And then after I get a break away from her, everybody in society is telling me the same thing she used to tell me, that nobody's going to hire you. And with this previous job, well, I'm going to say 2 weeks ago when I started, my second day at the job, the Tony guy, the manager and all them, when I had the situation with the Gary guy, the Tony guy, he made me feel like as if he was treating me like as if I didn't have the mentality or the sense to work. And that's one way you cover up for a bully, is to say, "Oh, they just having a bad day, or they woke up on the wrong side of the bed." And you just want to praise, as I said, I'm getting singled out and bullied because of my targeting. And that fake retarded Miles guy, he's mentally slowing off himself, Miles Burden. He sit there and freaking saying nobody's bullying you. Well, you ain't there to see. But if you were there to see, you would have your own fake retarded perception anyway. So I don't know what's gonna happen today. And on Mondays and Tuesdays, and sometimes Wednesdays also, it's less people walking down the street downtown. It's less people walking down the street downtown. So I didn't realize it would take an hour for me to get over to downtown. I thought it took 2 hours or something. But all I have is like, a little change card for bus fare. And last night I was desperate enough after midnight to try to go to the snack machine and see if I can use that $5.06 on the other card. See if it will work this time. And it didn't even it had the credit card or the debit card thing on the drink machine, but not the snack machine. So I had, I don't know why that $5.06 card, the $5.06 on a card, why it's not acting right, So, if I buy something that's $4 and it has $5.06 on it, it still want to say insufficient funds. I don't know why. So, so I can't use that card. And then I have 24 cents in the bank, and I have probably about 25 or 30 cents in pennies, a lot of pennies, and just one nickel. That's all I have. And no money for food and no food. And people don't care if you don't get to eat. So I can't believe that even professed targets, that people would think you a perp. If you profess to be targeted and you believe the slander campaigns and act a certain way, then I start to think that you're either a fake TI perp or a TI turn perp. If you decide to, if you believe in me and ride with me all this long, and then now you act like as if you've been deceived, or like as if you got to be re-educated or something. If you see all this footage and evidence and then act like a perp towards me and lie and say that I'm the one who's perping you, and then you use your own slander campaigns to turn others in the TI community against me. The TI community itself has slander campaigns against me after I exposed and outed some of the popular fakes that huddled together. And it's like I'm all alone. And even some targets have turned against me because of the slander campaigns that perps have made. And then they act like they wanted to try to, if they said that they had been falsely accused of being a pedophile also,
But then they act like as if they separate themselves because they believe the false rumor about me. Well, the same rumor's been floating around about you too. So, if and the fake TI perps, they'll use projection against the real targeted individuals, and they'll use projection against the real targeted individuals, and then lie and say that you work for the government, you work with the government, you work for the fusion centers or with the fusion centers, or you're being or that you working for the Freemasons, or that you work with the elite. Now the perps are lying on me and saying that I'm getting donations, getting big time donations from Freemasons and all that, and which is not even true. So, and then they act like as if they want to hunt around and try to figure who's giving Candy donations. The perps and the fake TI perps want to go around and be like, who's giving Candy donations? and so if they find out who it is, they go and chew out that person that helped me. They chew that person out so bad that that person quit wanting to help me, and then they act a certain way. So, they want to aggressively demand an answer for, where's that GoFundMe money or whatever. That ain't your business. You didn't donate, so you don't have a right to know. If you didn't donate, you do not have a right to know. But it seems like multiple perps had teamed up together and lied on me, and that's how my GoFundMe. They wanted to falsely, talking about prohibited conduct, and I wasn't even committing fraud. And then to go get funding, only one person donated, and it's only one person donated. And, it seems like as if it's, not nearly as well known as the actual GoFundMe, that they wanted to make a laughing stock out of the online perps wanted to make a laughing stock out of my GoFundMe. But remember, I told y'all in 2019 and 2020, professed targeted individuals, before they flipped and became perps, they used to encourage me, go get a GoFundMe and ask for donations, or set up a PayPal and set up CashApp and ask for donations, since they prevent us TIs from surviving. And now all of a sudden, you've been re-educated and become a perp now, been indoctrinated and brainwashed to become a perp. And so, people hate me because they haven't successfully turned me into a perp. They keep trying. And they think that to strip me of everything and make the entire world hate me, they think they can use that to try to beat me into submission. So they would think, what the hell, am I supposed to show y'all screenshots of how little bit of money I have in my bank? I'm not letting y'all know what my bank is, so then y'all can go and hack into my bank account and just rape whatever you want out of my money, out of my bank account whenever you feel like it, and keep me in even more destitution and poverty. As I said, I don't know what the high life is like. I don't know what the rich life is like. I don't know what it's like to live on high income. I don't even know what it's like to live on medium income. So as I said, I've been living off of extremely low income all this time, and deprived all my life. And if it weren't for this recent job, I still would be walking around saying that I never got to drive any luxury cars. But yeah, all I did was just move them a little bit, clean them out, and then move them a little bit. But to actually, drive, even if it's a Lincoln I still never got to drive a Mercedes. But if I would have stayed at the job long enough, I probably could have got to drive a Mercedes. But wow, with this job, I finally got to drive a Lincoln, a Cadillac, and a Range Rover, and a Lexus. And some people say that Buick is luxury also, but I don't know about that. But, as I said, I've been living in forced poverty, extreme poverty all my life. The foster mom, forced me to be poor while she lived the uber rich life. 9-bedroom, 2-story house and like BMW and an SUV and all that, and a BMW convertible, and she got it when it was brand new after the foster dad Al died. And I heard that house, Al left that house to Joni, and the foster mom, was supposedly living in it, and Joni, like my twin sister told me the story about how Joni was forced to pay, property. Well, she was sent bills of property taxes on a house she couldn't even live in. So, I don't know. It seemed like Joni was treated way better than us because she was genetically related to the foster family. But I don't know if some kind of weird ways she kind of had it worse than we did also. I don't know. But growing up, Joni only had whippings. She only got whipped, for the only reason why she got whipped for having bad grades in school, or if the Masonic smelling Lanika from the Kraft family set her up to have sex with a boy. Those are the only two reasons why Joni would get a whipping. But, only bad grades in school or sexual encounters, But me and my twin sister, we got whipped for any and every reason. And the foster mom used to whip us with a belt, beat us with a belt. And then after the foster dad, Al, died, I heard that she got real mad because the state told her to stop whipping us. So then she went to, beat us with her fists and stuff. And that didn't stop the foster brother Joe from beating on us and try to kill us. Joe would have this abusive ritual where he would we would wear like slippers or flip-flops. He would take off your slippers or flip-flops. And like back in the 80s and 90s, they would have flip-flops. They used to be called slippers, and they would have thicker soles than the flip-flops that you see thinner soles now, So he would take off your slipper, beat you with it, and then put you in wrestling moves where you can't breathe for 2 hours, and then somehow bust your lip, and you don't even know how your lip got busted because you don't have any recollection of him punching you in the lip, but you wonder how is your lip busted. And then you got to be the one to be sorry. Like one time I was about 9 or 10 years. I think that was the first day he beat me up or put his hands on me. I was 9 years old. Nobody was home. It was a Sunday morning. The foster mom went to the fake cult Bible class, and I don't know where anybody else was. And so, I took it upon I was 9 years old. I took it upon myself to try to cook me some eggs. And so that was the first beating that he did to me for cooking eggs, and nobody else was home. I didn't get to have breakfast. And so he beat me up that day. But was that another time he beat me up? And then later on was like, "Nah, I'm treating you to the movies." And so one time I was 12. I had just started 7th grade. And he beat me up with the same ritual. And then the foster mom prevented me from going to school for a whole week. And there was a field trip that week too. And the foster mom prevented me from going to school for a whole week to prevent me from being outspoken about what Joe did to me. See, look, you hear that loud bass? And so then the foster mom tried to protect and defend Joe and make it like Joe was the victim. Please, against a 12-year-old little girl? If you're a grown man, how are you a victim against a 12-year-old girl? And then Joe lied on me. I mean, I couldn't get a lick off of him. So he lied on me, and he quickly went to have sex with a woman. And all the scratches and stuff from having on his neck and back from having sex with a woman, he went to pretend to fake show that off. And the foster mom, look at what you did to Joe. Look what you did to him. And I'm like, I didn't do that. But of course, took me years later, because Joe was always, flaunting off the deep claws and scratches on his back. Narcissistic men love to think it makes them feel more powerful to have a woman deep claw his back or bite on him. And he think that's like a badge of honor for him. Like a narcissistic guy in 2019, summer 2019, almost 3 years ago, they had a white guy. If his name wasn't Zach, then I don't remember what his name was, when I was working at the pool. And he narcissistically flaunted off those deep claws and deep claws in his back and his hickeys or passion marks on his neck and everything. And it's like, you want to put that on public display, So for the world, and flaunt and show it off. Like, come on, So this is me telling the doggone truth about what I've been going through and everything. So I gotta pee so bad and been holding my pee in for almost a half hour to talk about what I needed to talk about. So as I said, I don't know if I'll get any help with any money for food to eat. Like last Monday and last Tuesday downtown, it was extremely hard to get any help, and there was hardly anybody downtown. But they have people who they lie and say that they don't have any money to donate, but then they go and have luxury drinks with friends. If they go downtown and drink, and they treat you like you deserve to be punished, and they will not help you. And they treat you like the worst scum, while you're the one who's sitting by going to get drunk and drinking alcohol, and you treat me like the worst sinner just because I'm homeless. And I'm just trying to ask for food to eat. You sitting here poisoning yourself with alcohol. And so if they narcissistically and self-righteously turn their nose up and say that they don't carry cash or whatever. And I can't believe the online perps are trying to make it like, well, you're entitled. You act like you think you're entitled to other people's money and you're covetous. And most people work 2 jobs and this and that. No, you perp 2 jobs. You perp 2 jobs. They have people who seemingly don't work at all, and they sit at home all day with a paid-off house and a damn car, and all they do is stay home and stalk and surveil and monitor a target